Okay, all right. Now, the other thing also is the cooling system. Now, the cooling system is the radiator, okay? This engine operates at a very high temperature. The temperature could go up to around 2000 degrees Celsius, okay? So, it was, rated, it has given an operating temperature. So that those temperatures shouldn't go beyond that threshold, okay? So, you need a cooling system here. Now, the cooling system in this engine is water, or it could be water or coolant. Coolant is better. So you have a radiator right here, which has water or coolant. Now, there is a mechanical pump on this engine. If it's working well, it runs as the engine runs, okay? The engine runs, and then it runs that mechanical pump. Mechanical pump will be pumping, will be running throughout. So it means that it will be, circulating water to the engine throughout, okay? Now, one thing you have to know is that your radiator has to be clean. If your radiator is clogged, because remember, as the fan blows the air through the radiator, there is a lot of that collects around, okay? So the radiator clogs, all right? So if it does so, it starts limiting the amount of air that goes through it. So it means that the cooling will be limited. And if it's limited, then that means that the cooling in the engine, it will be also limited. So the temperature will begin to rise, and this engine will always go off because of high temperature. So you have to clean your engine pretty well. Clean it well. Use a pressure washer and softly wash it clean, okay? Okay, there is another thing here. There is another guy here called a thermostat. Now, I did a video about thermostat. I'll link it in the description and also up here in the info card. Now, the thermostat, what it does, it's a thermo, so it's a valve, but it's that's why it's called a thermostat, because it's a valve, but it uses the thermo to open and close, okay? So when this engine is quite hot, now that thermo, it has an opening temperature. So if that temperature reaches, it will open and the water will be flow. Because the pump is mechanical, it will keep on pumping, okay? So when the thermostat open, the water will start saturating. If the temperature starts lowering a bit, then the thermostat will close again. Now, there are some folks that disconnect, remove. When the engine has high temperature, they'll remove the thermostat. Of course, yes, because if you're using water into this engine, water, especially salty water, corrodes, okay? So the thermostat will corrode, and definitely it will stuck in the closed position. So as the engine runs, the pump is pumping, there will be no circulation of coolant inside the engine. So definitely there will be high temperature. Temperature will rise. So you come and remove it. But thermostat are useful, okay? In a such that if you remove it completely, then without you knowing, the engine will lose power, okay? Because there will be no regulation in the temperature.